All systems go. Clear for takeoff.
What's up, everybody? Big Marley 3 from SHIPIT Nation here to break down the Week 2 NFL Primetime Slate for you guys. Before I get into that, I want to mention that we have a 5-day trial over at SHIPITNation.com for only $19. You get to test out everything we offer except for our Discord. If you get in there now, you'll get access to MMA tonight before all these NFL games start tomorrow. Once you sign up, you'll get access to this 4-hour educational video from our guys Hoop and Tambo. They are two of the best in the industry, and they're giving away all their secrets in this 4-hour video. Hoop talks about winning the Millie Maker last year, and Tambo crushes qualifiers and live finals, so he gives his strategies away for those. Also, a bunch of other great information to help you guys become better DFS players. Also, this show is brought to you by Drafters. I built 150 best ball teams on Drafters this year, and it was an awesome site to draft on. They also have weekly pick'em contests available for each sport. Go over there, sign up with promo code SHIPIT, and they will match your first deposit up to $100. They also have an NBA best ball contest that you can start drafting in right now. All right, let's get into this primetime slate. This week's slate is being overshadowed by the big 2-gamer on Monday night, but there's still a 100K contest, 20K up top, so I will be playing it. I do like that 2-gamer more, though, and we will have content over at SHIPIT Nation for that slate if you want to chase the bigger prizes. All right, our first game on Sunday night. I expect this to be the popular game. It is our highest game total, and it has our two highest team totals on the slate. The Dolphins are road favorites with a 24.5 point team total, and the Pats have a 22-point team total at home. Tua crushed it last week. He had 466 passing yards. He threw for 3 touchdowns, and that was over 32 DraftKings points. He also has the 2 best wide receivers on the slate in Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill, who broke the slate in week 1. He had 15 targets, and he turned that into 11 catches for 215 yards and 2 touchdowns. That equaled 47.5 DraftKings points. He's going to be my favorite play on this short slate, and I'll try and get as much as I can afford with or without Tua, but I do expect them to be a popular option if people have the salary to get up to them. The contrarian options I like in this game would be Raheem Mostert at running back, and I don't mind pairing them with the Dolphins DST. Also, Durham Smythe at tight end. I don't mind throwing him in Tua stacks. I don't think he'll get much ownership this week. And he had 7 targets last week, and he was on the field for 100% of snaps. So you got to like that. Mac Jones on the other side of the ball. He passed for 54 times last week, and he hit the 300-yard bonus, and he also threw for 3 touchdowns. He's only 5,700 this week, but I might look to get away from him if he's going to be a popular option. If people aren't going to go to him, then sure, I like him, and maybe we can throw in Hill as the run back instead. But the New England players I am interested in this week are going to be Ramondre Stevenson at running back, if I can afford him at 6,400. He didn't have a great week last week, but he did have 6 targets, and he caught all 6 of them. I like Kendrick Bourne at wide receiver. He appears to be the clear number 1 on this team. He had 11 targets, and he found the end zone twice. He was also on the field for 91% of team snaps. So he's probably my favorite Patriot at cost anyways. And then the other ones that I'm looking at are going to be Hunter Henry and Mike Gesicki at tight end. If I can afford Henry, I prefer him. But if I need to pay down, then I'm fine just going down to Gesicki instead. That's about it on this Sunday night game, though. Let's move to the first Monday night game. This one we have the Saints, who are 3-point road dogs against the Panthers. The Saints have a team total just over 21, and the Panthers have the lowest team total on the board. I'm only interested in the Saints side of this game. and that makes me really like their DST as a pay up option, 3,700. Since I'm not using any Panthers skill players, I don't mind pairing them with Jamal Williams, who's going to get the bulk of the carries for this Saints team while Kamara is suspended, and just hope that the Saints get off to a big lead and they let Jamal Williams run out the clock late in the game. Derek Carr is a top quarterback option for me, just because he has so many stack options that I like. I'm not against using Jamal Williams with Carr either, but I do prefer pairing him with his pass catchers instead. Olave is going to be my favorite one if I can afford him. He hit the 100-yard bonus last week on 10 targets. Michael Thomas is the guy who was on the field for the most snaps. He had 8 targets. He finally looks healthy, so I like him as well. And they also have Rashid Shaheed, who looked good last week, and he had a 41-yard touchdown. I don't mind him at all for 4,200. Plus, they have Juwan Johnson at tight end, who I like this year. And if you want to get real sneaky, you can go with Taysom Hill and hope for a rushing touchdown or 2. I don't think people will be going there. He was only on the field for like 13% of snaps last week, so I don't really like that play, and I wouldn't want to pair him with Carr, but I don't mind Taysom Hill if you're not using Carr, and just hope that he gets the points instead. All right, our final game is another road favorite. We have the Browns traveling to Pittsburgh. The Browns have a 21-point team total, and the Steelers, who got destroyed last week, have an 18.5-point team total. On the Browns side of the ball, we have Deshaun Watson, who we can stack with Amari Cooper or Elijah Moore. They both had 7 targets last week. Or if you want, we can go with a lower-owned Donovan Peoples-Jones, who was on the field for more plays than any other skill player on this team. They also have David Njoku, who was on the field for the second most snaps on the team. Neither one of them had a good game, but I don't think ownership will be too high. I don't mind pairing them with Watson or just using any of them as run backs. They also have the best running back on the slate in Nick Chubb, and I like stacking him with the Browns defense if I'm not using too many other skill players on that team. I do prefer Tyreek Hill over Nick Chubb personally, but I think the ownership will be that way as well. So Nick Chubb's probably a good pivot away from a chalky Tyreek Hill on this slate. And then our last team, we got Pittsburgh. I don't expect people want to go to Pittsburgh this week. They lost Deontay Johnson last week to an injury, and they got crushed. So they're a contrarian play that I like a little bit. Kenny Pickett is going to be the cheapest quarterback on this slate at 5,400. And I'm high on George Pickens this year, who is going to be an auto stack for me if I'm using Pickett. We can also stack Pickett with Allen Robinson or Calvin Austin, who combined for 14 targets last week. They're cheap options who are going to be involved now without Johnson out there. And then Pat Freiermuth at tight ends. He's a guy who I have a lot of best ball exposure to, so I'm rooting for him either way. I don't mind throwing him in stacks also. And then at running back, we have Najee Harris and Jalen Warren. I'm not too interested in the running backs here, but I guess I'd rather just save that 1,400 and go to Jalen Warren instead. I don't mind pairing either one of them with Pickett if we really need to save the cost, if we're trying to go with Nick Chubb and Hill or something like that. But that about wraps it up for this 3-game slate. Don't forget to go over to ShipItNation.com. Try out that 5-day trial. It will get you everything we have to offer over at ShipIt Nation. And I think that 4-hour educational course is worth the $19 alone. So go test it out. I think you guys will like it and want to stick around. I will be back next week with another Primetime Slate breakdown. But if you guys can hit that like and subscribe button for us, it really helps out. Good luck on this short slate. I hope to see some Ship It logos up top. Thanks for listening. Go win something. See you next week.